Hello, everyone, and welcome to Your Father's Story, Episode 4. I was trying to pick up the book, but I couldn't do it there. Very special episode. I'm filming in my kitchen today. I thought, well, no one's here, and I thought we could use a little bit of a different setting, do something a little bit different. So I have, I don't have everything set up in here, but I do have, obviously my laptop, a camera, a microphone, a light. So this episode may be a little bit darker than normal because this camera that I have is it's a good camera, but it requires so much light. It's not even enough light. Even when I make videos, I have to edit the light saturation I have to jack it up so there's more light. It's it's pretty crazy, but yeah, thought I'd just sit here with my coffee and do something a little bit different. So we're gonna sit here. We're gonna answer some questions, and I thought that since last time I started like on the first page, that maybe this time I'll start on the second page and see where that leads me. I never noticed here that there's a little message from like the kids to the father at the very beginning of this. So I'm gonna read this real quick. It says, "As I entered this big world in the tiniest of forms, your fatherly embrace was there to greet me and comfort me with love. You have been my security blanket, guardian angel, protector, teacher, and disciplinarian. You are also my best source of encouragement, cheerleader, and counselor. Pops, you're everything to me, and I want to know everything about you. I know how to push your buttons, and I think I know how to make you laugh. I know what every facial expression means, and even figured out where your secret hiding place was, but I want to know more. I want to know how you became the person you are today. I want to know you when you were younger, like me. Tell me stories from your childhood, tell me about Grandma and Grandpa, but mostly tell me more about you. I don't want to let time pass by without getting to know everything there is to know about you. I want to know more about myself through your eyes. I want to spend some time walking in your shoes, if only to see the world from your view. Please take the time to answer each question, no matter how small or insignificant you think it may be. This means everything to me. I want to know it all, the good, the bad, and in between. Your history will be written in these pages, and while it's no substitute for the real you, I can look back and cherish each answer you wrote just for me." So that's pretty sweet. I think it's a little presumptuous, the beginning of it. I mean, when they wrote this, like, how did they know the father was any of these things? But that's okay. I think that's very sweet and very cool. Okay, so question number 2 is just basically describe your mom, my grandmother. Did she have any funny habits? I mean, you guys kind of remember Grandma Nancy. She was a funny little Asian woman who loved to cook, and to all of us had a funny accent. But I mean, she spoke well enough, I think. Oh boy, did she have funny habits? I don't know. She didn't have any funny habits that I can recall. She did love to clean. That's not a funny habit, but she did love to clean. And she was very good at it. She had a job doing it for a number of years, number of decades. Trying to think of some actual funny habits that she had. I don't really recall any. I really don't. She loved to garden. She was very good at gardening. There was a lot of people in the neighborhood that were trying to get tips from her, trying to get her to help because, I don't know, she had a great garden every year, and just no one could ever have a garden up to her standards. She just had the gift, I guess. But she loved doing things outside. She'd spend a lot of time outside. I don't know, I guess I'll have to think more about that, but I know she didn't really have any funny habits that really come to mind. She used to love to watch soap operas all the time, as most people her age did. And she very rarely listened to music. she never listened to music. It just wasn't her thing, I guess. Maybe music isn't a thing in Thailand. I don't know, but some albums I can recall that she did have were Billy Ray Cyrus's album with "Achy Breaky Heart" on it. She did have the Beach Boys, the Surfing USA record, although I don't think that actually belonged to her. I think that was my dad's. And I think she had the Bodyguard soundtrack, the movie with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. You guys probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but Kate probably does. Yeah, she wasn't a music person. She just wasn't. And yeah, it was very, very rare that she'd listen to music. But yeah, I guess right now that's all I really all I have on Grandma Nancy, as far as that kind of thing and funny habits and things like that. What was the hardest lesson for you to learn as you grew up? That's a loaded question. Getting getting a work ethic was hard. I did not have it as a kid, and I was spoiled rotten. I mean, it didn't help that I was a miracle baby. I wasn't supposed to be born. I'll tell that story real quick. I'm sure I'll get into it more detail later, but I mean, there's really not that much more detail to get into. You guys probably know that Grandma Nancy had 7 other kids in Thailand with another man, whatever. She got her tubes tied, which meant she couldn't have any more kids, and then she married my dad and came to America, got her tubes untied because Dad wanted to have a kid. And the doctors told her that, it probably wouldn't happen, but, it's worth a try. And then, lo and behold, I popped out. So, being the miracle baby, quote unquote, yeah, they basically gave me everything, and Mom and Dad didn't have that much money, but they did absolutely spoil me rotten. And my mom cleaned my room all the time, and I really wasn't expected to do anything until I got older, and it wasn't even their choice. It was just like, because I was getting older as an adult, and I was just like, I should probably be doing some of this stuff, and I don't know where that came from. This may shock you to learn, but a lot of my heroes growing up are wrestlers. I know Kate is going to cringe when I say this, but one of my first heroes was Bret Hart. And Bret taught me never to give up, so that was a thing, and that was so that was something I honestly learned at an early age. Was to, well, early age may be too early to put a point on that. It might not have been until my teenage years. I was a whine ass when I was a kid. I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it. I would cry when I struck out at baseball, and yeah, there was a lot of that going on. But yeah, learning to work hard when I got older was definitely, it was definitely a tough lesson to learn, but at the same time, it was very necessary to learn. And obviously, you guys know that I skipped most of my, junior and senior years of high school, so until I eventually dropped out. So, yeah, that was a difficult thing to learn, and I think also that, and of course, it's difficult when you're a teenager and your hormones are all screwed up, and I guess sometimes it's even difficult to tell what's real and what's not. But learning about love is tough too, because you think you know what it is when you're a teen, and to a certain degree you do. I think people look at teenagers like, oh, they don't know what love is. I think they do know what love is, but I think it's just love takes a lot of different forms. So, it's kind of different. But I mean, I did go through my teenage years feeling like I wasn't really loved. And I don't think that was accurate, and I don't think that was fair. So, yeah, I think that was a lesson that I probably wish I could have learned earlier. But, turned out alright for me. I'm still here, so. But for some other people, it doesn't always work that way, so, yeah. Sometimes it's really a matter of you really got to sit and really observe things around you and, really analyze what's actually going on instead, because life moves so fast and sometimes you don't really take the time to process what's actually going on. But, sometimes when you do, you really figure out, what the truth is. So I guess that's a pretty good lesson to learn. Was there a harder lesson for me to learn growing up? That I probably shouldn't jump off roofs? That was probably a good lesson to learn. Probably paying the price for that right now, although I think my body has other problems and other ideas. But yeah, I think for now that's a good summary of the harder lessons that I learned. Did you ever have friends or date someone your parents didn't like? Yeah, when I got older. When I was young, most of my friends were childhood friends, so that wasn't really an issue. It was almost kind of like one big giant family when I was a little kid. So we all kind of hung out together and went to each other's houses and hung out and did things like that. So there wasn't a whole lot of that. Christian, you may be shocked to learn that Grandma Nancy was not very fond of your mom when I started dating her. Things were okay later, and then, I mean, things were probably okay between them until the end. Like, whatever. Grandma Nancy didn't have to experience all the awfulness that we did. I don't know that Grandma Nancy was overly fond of Kate in the beginning either. But I think it was because Kate was a stronger woman, and Kate was trying to get me to be more of a man too. And I don't think, even at like 25 or 26 or whatever I was probably a little older than that. My mother still wasn't ready to let me go and be an adult. So I think that had a lot to do with that, but that obviously changed over time because Kate and Grandma Dawn were great helps to my mom, and I know my mom appreciated that. And my mom was never one for people to tell her like it is either. And obviously Grandma Dawn, Grandma Dawn didn't give a shit who you were. She'd tell it like it was, no matter what. So yeah, I think it really wasn't until I got older that, although with my dad, that was never a problem. My dad is my dad. If my girlfriends had necessary female features, he liked them. So that's really all I gotta say about that. I mean, did we expect anything else from him? Yeah, my dad, my dad, sorry. My dad got along well with my friends. The parents would sometimes play baseball with us too, so, we all interacted with each other quite a bit. So, I don't think there was a whole lot of that going around that, the parents didn't like the kids. Obviously it happened here and there as other kids, came in and out, but, wasn't a ton of that. So that was a pretty good thing. We had a pretty tight-knit community when we were younger. Most of the animosity came between us kids ourselves. So, pretty much the way it should be. So, yeah, I think that's that. Well, I kind of flipped around a little bit toward the end of the book, but I landed on a question that I think is extremely appropriate to answer right now. And it's, Did you think you'd did you ever think you'd end up in life where you are now? And I think the answer to that is a resounding no. I don't know. I don't know where I thought I'd end up. I don't really think I gave it that much thought, to be honest with you. And you know, we joke slash just comment, really, because it's the truth that, you know, someday we're not going to have Social Security. So I never really expected to have retirement, you know. So I basically expected to be working until the day I died, which is, to me, you know, whatever. Especially since I missed a lot of years working anyhow. But I don't think I ever expected to be in a place where I feel as strong as I do now. It was a dark time for a long time there, and hopefully I was able to hide a lot of that from you guys. Not all of it, obviously. Some of it was just impossible, but these last 4 or 5 years, I've felt the strongest I've ever felt, and the best that I've ever felt. Lately, it's been a little bit shaky, mostly because, you know, anxiety and outside factors and this and that, blah blah blah. But I don't think I ever expected to be in a place where I have such an amazing family and a good job where there was an opportunity for it to be an even better job. That is something I certainly never expected. So, and whatever happens from here on out for me is fine. It's all gravy. But you know, I can't complain. I say that to people at work all the time when I ask them how they're doing, and they ask me how I'm doing. And, you know, sometimes I make jokes that, like, you know, it's, oh, you know, I'm only an hour in, there's plenty of time for things to go wrong, you know. But then I always say that, you know, I can't complain. You know, life is good, and it is. Life is very good. It can always be worse. It can always be worse. No matter how bad you think it is now, it can always be worse. So, yeah, I certainly never thought that, I mean, we may not have, you know, 6-figure salaries or anything like that, but this is kind of the American dream, isn't it? To be with your family and in a house, and, you know, we don't have a ton of money, but I like to think that we're comfortable because we still have money to do, you know, kind of what we want in a way. Within reason, of course. Can't go out and buy a car right now, but, you know, we feel like we want to get takeout sometime. We can do that, you know. Some people don't have that luxury either. And yeah, it's strange to think that I would owe that to a convenience store. Someplace I never thought I would work and never thought I would like working. Never thought I'd like working at a gas station. But don't tell them I said it was a gas station. I always thought I'd hate that. I always thought I'd hate working at a gas station. But that was also kind of like, you know, what do I know about working at a gas station? And then I went and worked there, and, you know, it's a pretty cool little job, you know. At least, you know, I think it's cooler for me in a way because of the community aspect and, you know, getting to know people in the area. And it certainly helps out a lot. And, you know, I like to think that I've earned a lot of respect in the area and gotten to know a lot of people, certainly made a lot of friends, and a lot of people that are already helping me out along the way. I'm going to have to talk to Dave again about Kate's trunk on Friday. Sure, that's going to be an amusing conversation, but Yeah, I think, yeah, I never would have thought. I don't know, I'm trying to almost go back in time and think what I would have thought my life would have turned out when I was like 15 or whatever, but probably more grand than this, but you know, realistically, especially if I wasn't going to graduate school, like what was I going to be doing? I have no freaking idea. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything to really be upset about. I mean, do you? I don't think we have anything really to complain about. I think things are pretty good right now, and you know, it's not all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, as people I listen to like to say, but you know, there are little things bubbling underneath the surface that, you know, really aren't so great, but it's not like we can't work around those things. And you know, my big thing is always turning a negative into a positive, at least as much as possible. So yeah, I think that's the lesson to be learned here, is that you have to enjoy life as it is right now as much as you possibly can. Because if you don't, you're just going to drive yourself mad. That's the long and the short of it. And, you know, we got a roof over our head, we have food, we have entertainment, we have animals somewhere. And, you know, there's certainly a lot of people out there that have it worse than we do. So, yeah, I guess that's the end of Preachy Bobby for right now. But I think we just need to enjoy things in the moment and just be happy about that, because life is just way too short, and I think that's the important thing that we need to remember about that. And that is going to do it for this very special episode of Your Father's Story here in my kitchen. I'm definitely filming the best part of the kitchen right now. I really have to fix it back up. Christian had it almost spotless, and now it's destroyed again. So I'm gonna have to get cracking on that at some point. But until then, leave a like, subscribe, notifications, and all that crap. RobertBunchofBooks.com. If you're interested in the award-winning Wherever Dragon series, you can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. If you'd like to hear more about them, the Rise of Dragons podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. My Linktree, my Instagram, my Twitter, all Bobby's World 2110. Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Dark Souls Remastered No Essus run that's going on right now. And back in the archives, I have the Elden Ring No Crimson Flask run. I have the Sekiro No Healing Gourd run. I have the Dark Souls 3 No Essus run. And the Dark Souls 3 No Level Up run. And on the Dark Souls Remastered No Essus run that I initially was talking about, I am in the Demon Ruins. And you can probably imagine how well that's going. So, and Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is Soulsborne Battles to the Death, where I pick 2 random Soulsborne bosses, and I put them against each other, and then I do bios, and then I decide who I think would win, and then you leave your opinions in the comments. So, yeah, all kinds of fun stuff going on. There's 2 more Hunger Games, 26 and 27, up right now. So you might want to check that out. There's some interesting developments going on there. Fun storyline reasons why things are happening. So, yeah, check that out if you're interested. And until then, thank you so much for watching. And thank you for your love and support. I really, really appreciate it. Interesting times ahead. So we're just going to have to wait and see what unfolds. And then... you know, let the chips fall where they may. So that's just the way it is. But until then, I hope everyone has an amazing week. Be well, stay safe, and as always, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. See y'all, see you alive, y'all. Bye.
Hey, boss.
Yes, Courtney.
Mrs. Anderson called. She wanted to order several copies of your books for family and friends.
Oh, that's amazing. Get some ordered, have them sent over to me, and I will sign them for her. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me.
I didn't know you were an author.
You did. Courtney, you've been with me for like 2 years now, and we've talked about it fairly constantly, and there's an ad at the end of every one of these videos.
Well, that doesn't mean that I listen to everything you tell me. Are the books any good?
Well, readersfavorite.com said that its intensity rivals that of the Game of Thrones series. I know, that's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what it says. It's on the Cry of a Raven review. Go check it out.
Well, that's pretty cool. What are the books about?
It's about a soldier who gets exiled for saving a baby dragon, and later he's killed, and he wakes up 3,000 years later with strange powers, and he's watched over by the very same dragon, and the world has been overrun by evil, and he now must travel back in time to stop the evil that started in his own home country.
Wow, that sounds interesting. How can I get copies of the books?
Well, you can go to robertblanchardbooks.com and order your copies there. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast.
You have a podcast too?
You know what, Courtney? You are doing such an amazing job that I think you are due for a raise. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you, boss.
You bet. Too bad the raise is going to be when I raise a water balloon over her head and just... Maybe I'll wait until her mom calls. I think she'll find that pretty funny. Go to robertblanchardbooks.com right now and get your copies of the series that got 3 5-star reviews from readersfavorite.com, 3 Author Shout Recommended Reads Awards, and 2 Literary Titan Silver Awards. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free, read more reviews, short stories, and much more. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts.